Hello, dear friend, and welcome to PI Time. Today, we're diving into Uncover Your Authentic Self, 5 powerful journaling exercises for self-discovery. It's time to become positively improved. Hello, dear friend, and welcome. I'm so glad you're here today. There's something powerful about the decision to pause, to give yourself space, and to lean into self-discovery. Today, we're diving into a topic that is both timeless and profoundly personal, uncovering your authentic self. We're going to explore 5 powerful journaling exercises that can illuminate your values, uncover your passions, and help you gain clarity about who you truly are. By the end of this conversation, you'll have practical tools and insightful exercises that will guide you toward living more fully as your authentic self. Now, let me be clear, this isn't about surface level journaling. We're not talking about simply jotting down your day to day thoughts or tasks. This is about deep exploration, meaningful reflection, and honest self inquiry. It's about asking questions you might not have asked yourself before and creating space for answers that can shift your perspective in your life. Let's begin by acknowledging something important. Each of us carries patterns, ways of thinking, feeling, and reacting that may have served us at one point, but now feel limiting or misaligned. Awareness is the first step in uncovering your authentic self. When we recognize our patterns, we gain the power to make conscious choices rather than living unconsciously in old habits. Journaling can be a mirror for this process. It allows us to step outside the noise and confront what's real within us. Our first exercise focuses on becoming aware of a personal pattern or challenge. I want you to take your journal and write down one recurring challenge or feeling that shows up in your life. Be specific. Name it. It could be procrastination, self-doubt, people-pleasing, fear of failure, or any pattern that has shown up repeatedly. Once you've named it, reflect on how this pattern affects your daily life. What does it cost you in time, energy, or opportunity? Let me share a story to illustrate this. There was a woman named Serafina. She had always felt the need to overperform at work, constantly seeking validation from others. Yet she often ended the day feeling exhausted and empty. Through journaling, she began to notice the moments when this pattern triggered her. In meetings, in conversations with her manager, even when making decisions about her own projects. Simply naming the pattern was transformative. It was no longer a vague sense of dissatisfaction. It became something tangible she could observe and address. Serafina's awareness allowed her to pause in the moment, question her automatic responses, and slowly reclaim her energy. Once you've explored your pattern, we move into finding emotional balance and internal grounding. This second exercise invites you to reflect on the emotions that arise when this pattern shows up. Take a moment to write freely about your feelings, the frustration, the fear, the longing. Then, ask yourself a key question. If I were able to meet myself with compassion in this moment, what would I say? This exercise isn't about judgment or correction. It's about acknowledgement and self-compassion. Consider the story of Kian. Kian had a history of avoiding conflict, always accommodating the needs of others while silently resenting his own unmet desires. Through journaling, he began naming the discomfort he had been suppressing for years. He allowed himself to write, without censoring, about how exhausting it was to carry the weight of others' expectations. Over time, this practice grounded him emotionally. Kian didn't change overnight, but the act of confronting his feelings with honesty and care created a steadying presence within himself, a foundation from which real change could grow. Our third exercise is about shifting perspective toward a healthier understanding. Once you've named your pattern and explored the associated emotions, the next step is to examine the beliefs that underpin them. Ask yourself, what assumptions am I making about myself or others that might not be entirely true? Write down both the limiting beliefs and potential alternative perspectives. This is a subtle but crucial shift. It invites you to reframe, to expand your understanding of yourself, and to challenge old narratives. Let me introduce you to Amara. Amara had long believed that her worth was tied to achievement. Her journal pages were filled with to-do lists and accomplishments, but beneath them ran a quiet anxiety. Am I enough? Through the exercise of identifying and challenging this belief, she began writing responses to herself, statements that countered her old assumptions. I am inherently worthy. I'm not defined by what I produce. This shift didn't erase her desire to achieve, but it allowed her to pursue goals from a place of self-respect rather than self-criticism. The power of perspective, dear friend, is that it allows you to see your patterns in a new light, transforming how you engage with the world. Exercise 4 focuses on restoring or reclaiming what has been depleted or neglected. Ask yourself, what part of myself have I ignored or put aside to accommodate this pattern? What is calling for my attention and care? Write openly about what you long to reclaim, whether it's time, creative energy, self-expression, or a sense of joy that's been buried under obligations or expectations. I want to share a story about Idris. Idris had spent years prioritizing stability over creativity, working long hours in a corporate job while putting aside his passion for music. Through journaling, he allowed himself to revisit the dreams he had shelved. He wrote about what it felt like to play music again, to imagine a life where he honored that part of himself. The act of writing reignited his connection to his authentic passions. Journaling became the bridge between who he had become and who he truly wanted to be, showing him a path to integrate both his responsibilities and his joy. Our final exercise is about moving forward with renewed clarity and intention. After reflecting on patterns, emotions, beliefs, and neglected parts of yourself, turn your attention to actionable steps. Ask, given what I now know about myself, what is one tangible action I can take this week to align with my authentic self? Write it down, make it specific, and commit to it. The clarity you gain from the previous exercises can now guide intentional action. Let me illustrate this with the story of Leora. Leora had struggled with indecision and fear of judgment, often avoiding opportunities that could showcase her talents. Through the journaling exercises, she uncovered a consistent theme. She feared disappointing others more than disappointing herself. Her action step was both simple and courageous. She committed to sharing her writing with a trusted friend each week. This small, deliberate act created momentum. By taking steps aligned with her authentic self, Leora discovered a sense of freedom and confidence she hadn't experienced before. As we weave these exercises and stories together, dear friend, notice the flow of transformation. Awareness sparks insight. Emotional grounding nurtures compassion. Shifting perspective opens new possibilities. Reclaiming neglected parts of yourself restores vitality. And intentional action solidifies your authentic direction. Journaling isn't just about writing. It's about creating a dialogue with yourself, revealing patterns and potentials, and giving yourself the tools to live more intentionally. Before we wrap up, I want to offer practical steps you can take today. First, set aside dedicated journaling time. Even 15 minutes can be impactful if you approach it with focus. Begin with the first exercise. Name one pattern or challenge. Next, explore the associated emotions as Kian did. Move through the belief shifts, the reclamation of neglected aspects, and finally, define one actionable step for the coming week. Keep your journal accessible and revisit these exercises regularly. Your authentic self isn't a destination. It's a relationship you cultivate with curiosity, honesty, and courage. As you reflect on these practices, remember Serafina, Kian, Amara, Idris, and Leora. Their journeys illustrate that uncovering your authentic self is a process of recognition, compassion, perspective, restoration, and intentional action. You too have the capacity to navigate these stages in your life. Journaling is a bridge from the familiar patterns that no longer serve you to the clarity, passion, and purpose that await. So, dear friend, I invite you to pick up your journal, commit to these exercises, and explore the rich landscape of your inner world. Observe what surfaces, honor it, and act from that place of truth. Over time, you will not only uncover your authentic self, but also live more fully in alignment with who you are at your core. And that ultimately is the reward, the freedom to live intentionally with clarity, purpose, and joy. Thank you for spending this time together. I hope today's conversation inspires you to explore, reflect, and create a deeper connection with your authentic self. Keep journaling, keep questioning, and keep uncovering. Your most authentic life is waiting for you. And as we wrap up today's conversation, remember that the insights and practices we've explored aren't just ideas, they're invitations. Invitations to pause, reflect, and reconnect with yourself. Let's carry that intention forward together. I'm Jeffrey, and on behalf of Faith Harmony and the Positively Improved team, thank you for being here. Make it a daily practice to pause, reflect, and reconnect with yourself. Carry this energy with you, and we'll continue the journey together next week. Namaste.